I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here inside the Hub Culture studio. It's Davos, it's 2020, and I've got a repeat guest. Thanks very much for coming back.
Thanks for having me, Edie. I'm excited to be here.
Good. Doug McCauley, he's the director of the Benioff Ocean Initiative, also professor at UC Santa Barbara. So, we've been talking for a few years about the importance of figuring out how to get plastic out of rivers, because we know what happens. They end up in the oceans, and that's obviously an enormous problem. Tell me, first of all, the scale of the problem that we're looking at now. Has it gotten any better since we've been talking over the last few years? And then we'll talk about some of the projects that you're involved in.
Right. Well, the scale is actually kind of a fun piece that comes into the action part of the project. So what's been really fun for us is that, of course, I'm a researcher, as you mentioned, and in the research community, what our job really was, and our job description, was to figure out how much plastic was going into the ocean. And just like you asked, the number is huge. It's 5 trillion pieces of plastic in the oceans. Our gyre is filling up with plastic. Unfortunately, it's not getting better. But what for us was an interesting journey is that we kept cranking out, my colleagues, myself, others, cranking out these reports, giving us a sense of how much plastic was going in, and that's sort of where our job description ended. But that hurts. You can't just say, oh my gosh, what a terrible problem.
Right, it's all ending up in the ocean, and that's terrible.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So this new project on rivers and plastics is an effort from us in the research community and in the Benioff Ocean Initiative to actually get involved, get scientists and get thinkers and technologists involved in fixing the problems.
Okay, so tell me where you are. I know that there's a project in Panama that's quite far along. Tell me what it's doing and what the effects are.
Yeah, so we have 9 teams, amazing teams, in 4 continents and 9 different countries. The great thing about rivers, I want to get to the Panama team, but the great thing about rivers is a strategic opportunity, and this is exactly why we're working in these 9 different places, is that from a tactical point of view, rivers are great if you want to not make that number of 5 trillion go up, because they're a very strategic entry point to capture that plastic, and you can do some good hydrological modeling, as folks out there have, that help you pinpoint exactly which rivers. So these places we're working are some of those rivers.
So just tell me what those rivers are first.
Well, I can give you a sense of the region. So, well, let me make an important point. So a lot of the rivers that are in this list are in Asia, but here's the point I want to make. There are plenty of rivers in our own backyard, whatever your backyard is. California, for example, which is where I'm from, has a couple of rivers that source the largest amount of macroplastic, big pieces of plastic, into the oceans, right? So we can go through, we can find countries and regions, and that's really helpful for us because we have a limited amount of investment, but I think it's just really important, and we don't, necessarily go
point fingers, it's all their fault.
Exactly. Well, I see a great opportunity with that science to help build a global solution of collaboration. That's what these 9 teams are about, including that Panama project.
Okay.
Which
are we finally at the Panama project? I think we are.
This is what happens, Edie, when you ask an ocean scientist or professor to explain something. You're on for a ride.
It's good.
So Panama Project, there's a woman down there who's leading a group called Maria Verde, and she's doing her and her team are doing amazing things, right? And they've been working on trying to get plastics out of this river for a long time. Simple technologies, so booms to try to catch the floating plastic, aggregate it, and then a great team that goes in and scoops it out. There's only so much you can do when you have sort of some of these low-tech interventions. So we're funding her to step it up on the technology and help her actually put in a really cool system that will actually be a spinning water wheel, which captures the plastic, brings it up a conveyor belt, drops it in a dumpster, and it's working 24/7. So she can and her team can go from sort of here to up here. So we're really excited.
Incredible.
Amazing people, and we're thrilled to actually have the chance to work with them.
And how scalable is that solution?
Yeah, well, the neat thing for us about having these 9 teams, I can't quite shed being a scientist, is that we have 9 experiments running with 9 amazing experimenters in all of these different countries, right? And we'll learn some things that work and some things that don't from coming together and sharing some intelligence. This is a project that we're actually working on with Coca-Cola. So we're all working together. We're going to bring the folks in with Coca-Cola to this to an annual gathering, share what's working, share what's not working. The hope is we'll find the stuff that sticks. We'll find the successes, and those will be scalable. There'll probably be a lot of things on the way that doesn't work, but we're really excited because the actual number of rivers you'd want to work in is not 9, it's hundreds of rivers. But you also want to put yourself out of business.
Right.
So we don't want to be working or have these teams or governments or places catching plastic in rivers forever. That's not the solution. We're hoping they also, and part of the aim is these interventions they're building are data capture devices. Again, data, but they're telling us what plastic is getting into the rivers, which helps us start a conversation about how to stop it from getting in the rivers in the first place.
Doug, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture studio here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lash.